course, he tell you about the Senate Select Committee that made him King George the First of the United States of America.
Mm.
So me, when I was locked up, I went and pulled the bill in the law library, and it said what he said. So I know he wasn't lying because it's in the bill,
Mm.
right? So once you read it, you can't be like, okay, well, I know this information, but what do I do with it? Right? You watch it play out and it expose itself.
Mm.
Now we just shining the light back down the dark corridors of the past so we can show you where it was all at.
Right. You mentioned "Behold the Pale Horse," and that just reminds me of what I saw, and I think you were trying to help me see that
Mm-hmm.
maybe I need a little more clarity when we saw Beyonce riding in on the white horse during the halftime of the games on Christmas. What was that symbolic of something?
Yeah. So the biblical reference for the pale horse is not the biblical reference for the white horse.
Okay. Okay.
The pale horse is gray in color.
I see.
When you go back to the original, the Greek word for it, it's kind of telling you that it's a grayish color, a pale gray.
Okay.
The white horse, they say the one who sat on the white horse is called faithful and true.
Right.
In another place, it said, and the one that sat up on the white horse was given the keys to war and went about conquering and to conquer. Right? So they're not the same.
Okay.
The one who sat up on the pale horse carries death.
Right.
Right? So death means absolute change. It don't always mean somebody got to die.
Okay.
It just means that the change is definite. It's a for sure change. It's just like reading in the tarot card. Tarot really be trying to explain to people the devil card don't mean the devil. It mean in the physical world. Wow. But when you talk in the spiritual world, they give you the lovers instead. When you look at the cards, they mirror images of each other. One is above and one is below. Right? It's the same thing with the death card. Right? They tell you get the death card, people think somebody about to die. It don't mean death in the literal sense.
Let's see.
Right? It's oracle reading. Death means an absolute change. Something that was once vigorous in this form is no longer in that form. It don't exist no more. It's dead. When the caterpillar comes out of the cocoon, as the butterfly, the caterpillar itself is dead.
Right.
But when you look in the cocoon, you can't find the caterpillar. You just seen the butterfly come out. So now you're trying to figure out what happened to the caterpillar because he ain't there no more. Right? Metamorphosis.
So help me understand.
Change.
Okay. So help me understand. Can you make it clear for me what the symbolism of Beyonce it was riding on a white horse? Because I know they do things through codes.
Yeah. So in Mexico, it's called Jefe Blanco, the white boss. And its symbolism, she used in the Western style cultural symbolism. That means Southwest primary origin for the Western style of dress.
Okay.
And so she's telling us from the West comes a conqueror.
Okay.
I don't know what song she was singing, so I can't go into like how that tied to what she was doing. Okay. But the whole thing, if you notice, she came with a whole white army.
Yes. Yes.
Right. And you notice they've been having a lot of fog on the West Coast. It's a big ass ship cloaked over there.
Makes sense.
So when the cloaking agent for the ship falls to the earth, it look like fog. And you will know that it's chemical based because it'll float on water, turn into foam.
Okay.
Right? So that's the cloaking agent for the ship. So she's telling you the ship coming in on the final hurrah from the west, southwest.
Mm.
So if you ever see that picture, it's a picture of America. It looked like it got the A written across for the
Mm.
solar orbit,
Okay.
and you seen it on the deck clock. It's been on the deck clock. That's
Mm-hmm.
the proposed trajectory of the returning Nibiru ships,
Ooh. Okay.
right? But they can only come when the tribes are back in power, because they got to get rid of the ones who were holding the power from the old system, because they the ones who corrupted the earth. The whole
Mm.
idea and descriptive analysis of this place called heaven used to be earth when it was controlled under the matriarchy. That's why all of those masculine species wanted to come here to relish in the energy of this divine feminine. But when they got here, some of them was a little fruity and they got jealous of the women because they was
Mm.
used to the male attention.
Oh.
And now they want to know why the women getting all the attention. Because
Mm.
we don't want to look at your hairy ass. We rather look at her.
While you're talking, I'm just going through in my mind Marion Stone's book, When God Was a Woman. Like she lays it out that these people who came here, she said she called them Aryans from the Caucasus Mountains. She said they were homosexual in nature. They were brutish. They hated women, and they decimated mama all across the planet. And it
She
just
gave
blows.
you she gave you a 100% descriptive analysis of Enlil's fleet.
Okay.
The ones that they say came down on top of Mount Hermon,
Mm,
right?
mm,
They couldn't go west because the Egyptians was the barrier, so they went north.
mm.
When they go north, they settled in the Caucasus Mountains, and they got nappy hair, right? And
Yes.
they got yellow skin, not pale skin, or what we would call them in the Mississippi culture. They call them a light bright,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Oh, look at that light bright. I mean,
Mm.
that bright boy and that bright girl down there.
Yeah.
That's what they
Yeah.
right. So, but they had nappy hair.
Mm.
Most people don't know that if you were originally from the earth, you're gonna have a higher propensity to have nappy or curly hair than you is
Right.
straight hair.
Right.
Straight hair is the minority, but it was still tribes that had straight hair. Melanated tribes with straight hair.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have your Asian tribes with the hollow hair. That's a whole nother Y chromosome haplogroup,
Okay.
right? You had 12 daughters of Isis. All of them was a different skin color and hair texture. And eyes, some of them had funny eyes,
Mm.
right? So they settled in the regions of the earth in 12 major sections. The 13th seat was the sacerdotal seat, the
Mm.
Isis seat, the
Mm-hmm.
Inanna seat, the Olympia seat,
Mm.
the Columbia seat, the
Mm.
Guadalupe seat. She's still in all of the cultures under different names, and they put her right there in front of you, but you don't know that the son can't never be greater than the mother because he can't carry no baby in his womb. So when we realize that aspect, Hail Mary, Mother of God, well, what that
Mm.
make her?
Woo! Woo! A goddess.
So
God.
when they say, when she said Hail Mary, Mother of God, think about what it's saying about the making the man. Let us make
Us.
man in our image. But just kick his uterus out and kick his uterus out,
Mm-hmm.
make his ovaries drop, turn them into testes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because the women can override the Y chromosome if it got any defect in it and produce a girl baby without that Y.
My daughter, who studied biology, told me that, and she told me that in the womb, a child starts out as a female.
All zygotes are female. It's not until later on that the mothers determine the Y chromosome is not going to be defective that she okay the progesterone, testosterone balance in her blood to convert the genetics of the child from female to male.
Mm. Mm. That's beautiful.
The mitochondria run this place. I don't care what they say. Because it's the mitochondrial right to scan the chromosome or the Y chromosome. Men don't, we inherit it from mama, but we can't pass it on to baby. That's why everything comes through the mother line.
Okay.
And the same mitochondrial in the woman from a specific geography is in the soil of that geography, and that's how you know who organic to that land. It's more accurate than 23andMe.
1 minute, Chief. Family, if you're enjoying this lecture and this conversation with Chief Hayes, who is also known as Rod Hayes or Chief Pontiac, then, let us know in the chat that you appreciate him, and let's send him a blessing. I really believe in blessing people that help us out or share knowledge and information. And you can send him a blessing at $ by Cash App at $ SIKAPE, just to let him know that we appreciate him and we're grateful and thankful that he took the time out to share this information that you're not going to hear anywhere else. At least I haven't heard it anywhere else, except for, studying the matriarchy. I did do, since I did study some anthropology, but this is impressive, just knowing that we're going to return to the matriarchy, understanding how important it is, all of that, and how the whole world really is returning back to the matriarchy. They're waiting on the sisterhood here in America. So if you are appreciating this, and if you want to even ask him some questions before you do, just drop him a love offering, family. Send him a Cash App blessing at $ SIKAPE, and that's called the SikApe. And he never asked for that. It's something that I enjoy doing because I was raised and taught that if a person blesses you, you should give back to them. And the Bible says, muzzle not the ox that treadeth out the corn. So, Chief, I hope you don't mind me doing that. It's just my great pleasure that you've taken the time to be here today.
Reciprocity.
Yes, sir.
I accept everything with gratitude and return the love just the same for it to come back to him tenfold.
Yes,
the multiples of 10.
Beautiful.
That's how the love energy is exchanged through gratitude, reciprocity.
Okay.
Right. And when we do stuff for each other, like I come on here, I don't ask for nothing. I just come over here to give y'all the information.
Yeah.
It serves two purposes. Notice the agent, notice the principle. It's everything I say is for public notice. So when I'm telling them to close this stuff down, it don't matter what platform I'm on. I'm not personal property. I'm community property. I belong to the collective in order to get their stuff back. So all the knowledge I got was paid for by my brother and my sister and myself. Right? So I'm just giving back because I ain't got nothing else to do with it. What I'm going to do? Go die with it? It ain't going to serve me no good in the grave.
That's right.
Right? But if it'll benefit the collectives to know the truth about the lies they told us and the lying liars that signed their name to them damn lies and where to find them at, I'm going to tell them. I'm going to tell them because our people need to know that they ran so many kind games on us. And they old kind games. They still using them. Right? But now that we know the MO, the modus operandi, method of operation, how they do a thing, we can defend ourselves now.
Absolutely.
The power of the conjure magic is to keep it a secret. Expose the secret, break the spell. We was under 3 major conjure sleep spells. One out of Sumer called Kingu. One out of Egypt called Amin. That's why they got people saying Amin behind all their spells so they could tell their inner god to go to sleep.
Ooh.
And then we had the Crispus Attucks George Washington conjure spell.
Okay.
So now we coming out of triple darkness because we coming from under 3 sleep spells.
Mm.
And they were all amnesia spells. So they tripled down on the amnesia to try to keep us permanently oppressed.
Mm.
I just decided I didn't feel like being oppressed, so I was just going to tell people how to break the conjure by knowing where it's at, who did it, and what they do it, and how it worked. Because once you understand how the blood magic works and you see them doing it right in front of you, all you got to do is elect not to participate.
What exactly is this blood magic?
When they do conjure with magics, they make them into contracts. And the contract had to be written in the blood of somebody that's absolutely 100% innocent.
Mm.
Once they get the blood of the innocent, they tie you to a contract based on 2 biblical verses where it say that the blood of the righteous shall not be spilled in vain.
Mm-hmm.
The side effect to that is they have to do what's called conjure maintenance, which is where you get your modern slaughterhouses separate from the butcher that only butchered when the family needed something to eat. The butcher every family had a family butcher, every clan, on the family farm. It might be an uncle with 10 nephews learning the butchery science, or he might have cousins from different clans learning it from him. And then he sent them all home. But when we have the pit masters come out and do the barbecue, they're trying to make us seem like we got that from somewhere else. You can see them barbecuing in the paintings in the Mayan paintings. Cooking over the open flame. Those old pit masters. This is what your Juneteenth celebration really was. But they needed to monetize it and they needed to tie it to the slave narrative.
Wow.
The teen days, 13th to the 19th, used to be where all of the pit masters go to their big mamas and they cook their contests. The young guys that's learning how to barbecue, coming up with their own recipes, and they bring them to Big Mama to see if it's a good recipe. When we take the barbecue and pass it out for the family to take home, we ain't had grocery stores. Everybody had to eat off their family's farm. And that's why they turned them into plantations, to make us despise working on the farm. And that way, when they poison Big Mama, and the house nigga take over, and appoint the Jones to govern the plantation, right? Then when he go into a sharecropping agreement and lose the land, we don't even give a damn. As long as we can get off this land, let him lose it. Because they misusing the family, and we ain't pulling that nigga up there in the house.
You said the house nigga took over the land. You didn't say that the slave master, the Caucasian man, took over the land. You said the house nigga.
Yeah. He the one poisoned Big Mama. That's why we ain't like house niggas.
Oh, okay.
Come in with his buckle shoes and his European suits on. Then he don't got the nerve to say who that nigga on that nag when you see a native riding in. They showed you in the movies.
Well, who sent him? Where did he come from?
They was conquistadors and Huguenots. The Huguenots was the French ones who take the credit for the Creole culture.
Okay.
The funny part about that, if you go talk to the actual people that's from that culture, they was practicing that culture long before a Frenchman ever came over here. They just added the French language into the Creole culture. They didn't add the Creole culture into the French. They was already there. That's their tribal standard of living. They whole culture about who they are as a people. That's why they tried taking Mardi Gras. You see, they won't mess with Mardi. The first time they messed with Mardi Gras in about 140 years. They know what they doing. They trying to create chaos and wire up the tribe so that we can't follow the continuation of the process of reclaiming what's ours. Django, yeah. Who that nigga on that neck? Who that nigga on that neck? You go back and look, the house nigga was running the show the whole time.
Yes. Yes.
Now you gotta go pull up this clip on YouTube called The Jones Plantation, and you'll know why I keep saying that as an example.
Okay. The Jones Plantation.
Yeah.
So, Chief, let me look that up. I keep talking about how the chiefs on the land are now back in control because I keep seeing certain rituals that are being done that alludes to that to me. Like any game with the name of chiefs, Indians, Moors that's played, I can always, kind of foretell who's going to win. It's always in the last 2 years. It's been the chief or Indian.
So they use the sports logos, team mascots, and scores to talk to each other.
Okay.
Anybody that don't know that.
So he's going to be answering the questions, and the questions is going to be moving all over the place. So don't think it's him going all over the place.
I do that sometimes too. I do that sometimes. Sometimes you might ask me a question, it might require me to draw information from several different places, but yeah.
Yeah, it's going to get deep in here. So talk to the people, let them know what you've been up to, man. How can they come and see you? What's up, man?
Man, I haven't been doing much. I had a funeral I just went to over the weekend. One of my cousins had passed away. And so I've been really laid back. And, that take the family off. Always, have to stutter stuff. Because we've been having, like, for the last 15 years since I've been home, we've been having family members dropping like flies, So that takes its toll after a while. And you either gonna become totally despondent or you gonna become numb to the grief.